It's an absolutely wild day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast has announced a mysterious new product in the form of the Chaos Vault. There have been rumblings that Elon Musk might buy Hasbro, thus owning Wizards and Magic the Gathering, along with D&D. On top of that, Wizards screwed up very badly with Innistrad Remastered. And that's not even all the news we have to talk about today.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for a fat and juicy, full to the brim installment of Mega Magic News. I have so many different things to talk about that I had to write them down to keep track of them. But the biggest ones are obviously going to be the Chaos Vault, the problems with Innistrad Remastered, and the rumblings of Elon Musk actually buying Wizards of the Coast by buying Hasbro. So let's quickly touch on the Elon Musk rumors to start with. I actually did a full live stream about this last night, and it is available over on my live stream archive. So if you'd like to hear more of my in-depth thoughts about what's going on with that, you can check it out. I'll leave a link pinned down in the top comment. But to really summarize it in the most simple of terms, basically what happened is Musk got upset about what Wizards of the Coast had done with Dungeons and Dragons. And as a result, he made a tweet going, bah, shaking his fist about what happened. And then a little while later, after people have been like, yeah, you're right, rabble-rousing with him, then he just put out a tweet saying, how much would it cost to buy Hasbro, right? And so we're dealing with somebody who literally has the means to acquire Hasbro, has the money like on hand or the ability to raise the capital to do it, right? So you have a situation where people are genuinely looking at it and going, wow, ultimately, will this happen? And what will it mean? So like I said, I went more in depth over on the live stream, but basically looking at it from the outside perspective that I have right now, it seems to me that this is all just imagination, right? Like, yes, he did go out and buy Twitter, but ultimately, looking at the situation, it feels like these are a couple of just attention-seeking tweets, and we see things like this fairly frequently from him. So this is a subject that came up time and time again to the point where I felt that I needed to address it, and I go more in depth as to why I think it's not really going to be a purchase that's going to happen. And also, I go more in depth about why he's actually genuinely upset and what it would mean for Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro overall if they were to be purchased. So if you're interested in hearing more details of a theoretical nature, then go ahead and check out the live stream. Because I don't consider this to be something that's genuinely going to happen, I'm obviously not going to dedicate an entire video to it when I've gone on at length in a live stream. But I did want to cover that and get it out of the way. So ultimately, it's just a fun thought exercise. It could theoretically lead to better things for Magic the Gathering, or it could lead to more of the same. Theoretically, it could also make things worse, but I feel like that probably wouldn't be the case, right? So, Elon Musk out of the way, let's talk about the next thing on the list, which is the Chaos Vault. So this is something that Wizards of the Coast has mysteriously teased us with by putting a little post up on the Secret Lair website. So they say that the Chaos Vault is coming soon. Now, this doesn't mean a specific secret lair called the Chaos Vault. This is coming across as a different kind of offering. So basically, there's a few different ways to look at this. I imagine 3 different scenarios for this, okay? So the first scenario is one where the Chaos Vault is going to be essentially a booster pack, where they're going to go, look, we have these 50 new secret lair cards, all with special treatments, and we are going to randomly put 5 of them into a secret layer box with a bonus card and mail that out to you for whatever price tag they're selling it for, $40, $50, I imagine, right? So we could have a situation where they essentially just create a bunch of desirable secret layer cards and some undesirable secret layer cards, put them in a mix, and turn secret layers full on into boosters. Now, this doesn't affect pre-existing secret layers, right? This would be a separate thing, but we can see that Wizards of the Coast already wants to have secret layers have that kind of boosterification feel, and that persists even into the new era we're going into when it comes to things like the Marvel secret layers, because they have the bonus cards for each secret layer that's Groot basically being a simulacrum of the Avenger from whatever particular secret layer as the bonus card. But then there's that extra secret layer bonus card, Abundant Groot, which is way rarer. I've already had people asking me, they're like, yo, I bought 5 copies of the Iron Man secret layer. Why didn't I get this other special version? So Wizards of the Coast really likes to boosterify their products and have you chase after stuff. So one version of the Chaos Vault could straight up be, we have a selection of 50, maybe 100, who knows how many different cards, but we have a range of different cards and we will give you a randomized selection of them. It could also be Wizards' way of answering old secret layers, because you may not remember this, but they changed the way they were doing things, where secret layers were only going to be available for a particular window of time. They've had a bunch of different ways of handling secret layers. Some were, we'll print as many as get ordered and you have this window to order, and now it's currently, we're going to make X secret layers and that's it. We're not going to make any more copies of the secret layers. So what happens is they do a secret layer super drop, and something like the Miku secret layer sells out like that, right? And so you go, okay, the Miku secret layer sold out, but the other secret layers they had alongside the Miku secret layers, like some of the Thunder Junction ones or whatever, super underwhelming, right? So what happens? People don't buy those secret layers. The super drop time frame runs out, and Wizards of the Coast is left sitting on these secret layers. So the Chaos Vault might be a either singular purchase or a subscription service where basically they send you out a random secret layer from previously created secret layers. So they could have, probably still have, some of the good leftover secret layers. Like, obviously the ones that sell out are the good secret layers, but Wizards of the Coast has to keep X number of boxes of them kicking around in case there's a problem. If you order the new Iron Man secret layer and you get defective cards, you're going to need a replacement. So Wizards of the Coast is going to need replacement secret layers to send out to those people. So they're going to have those in stock. But at a certain point, they no longer offer replacements. Let's say it's a 6-month window where they go, well, we're not offering replacements anymore. Well, they'll still have copies, let's say 8 months down the road, they'll still have copies of Iron Man, Storm, all those secret layers that they kept to make up for any problems. But now that they're not replacing any defective product, they literally just have this stuff kicking around almost as dead stock. So that's how they get copies of the good secret layers still kicking around. As in terms of the bad secret layers, they still have them because they didn't sell them all. So what they could do is go, you sign up for the Chaos Vault, and on the website they'll show you, check it out, you could get the original Bitter Blossom, you could get the Walking Dead secret layer, like some of the ones that people really want. Monty Python, Evil Dead. Monty Python's a little too recent, but I'm just trying to pick ones that are exciting, right? So you've got the exciting secret layers, and then you've got the dud secret layers. You sign up for Chaos Vault, and then they send you a random secret layer. So it's like another level of boosterification, right? Where the purchasing process becomes the boosterification, where you don't know, am I going to get the good one? Am I going to get the bad one? It ties into people who like to do the whole gambling-esque aspect of it, where it's like, hey, okay, I can get something cool. And then it lets Wizards move a bunch of old stock, right? So there's actually 2 different ways that could play out. When I said there's 3 different ways, this actually is 2 of those ways. One is where they send out the completed secret layer and go, here you go, here's the awesome secret layer from forever ago, or here's your dud, whatever, nobody cares about it, Thunder Junction secret layer. Or they could take all these old secret layers, open them up, right? And then take the individual cards and have them randomized into different secret layers. So if you order a Chaos secret layer, you are going to get a secret layer made up of 4 or 5 cards, basically pulled across from all of the different secret layers in existence that they have copies of. So that one, in one way, it feels like it's more chaotic. If they take the cards out and they spread them around like that, it adds more chaos, but it also adds more cost, right? Like if you just have the secret layer boxes kicking around and you just have an employee grab a random one and throw it out versus having to have somebody go and crack all the old boxes and mix in these cards. So I imagine that most likely out of those two routes, they would go for the let's take a box that's already pre-made and send it out, unless they have way too many dud boxes and so few good boxes that having one Walking Dead card show up in your pack will outweigh the 3 or 4 whatever cards you get. So more people will essentially get exciting chaos layers. Now, there are theoretically other options to this as well, but I feel like the chaos layer, I mean, if you look at things like chaos drafts, the idea behind that is using 3 different random booster packs. So it really does say to me that it's going to be a way to offload old stock in a way that will hopefully create excitement with the player base. And for me, I have no real problem with them trying to find a way to sell older secret layers. And if you like to take a gamble and you want to get a secret layer, there is a level of fun of not knowing what you're going to get, right? It turns it half into kind of like the old loot crates where you know something's coming in the mail and you have a rough idea of what it could be, but you don't actually know until you open it, and then you'll either have joy or disappointment, which adds another layer to it. But that covers the Chaos Vault secret layer action. Now, let's talk about Innistrad Remastered. We got a whole bunch of information about this reprint set. For me, the remastered sets are a very diminishing returns product where Wizards takes something and tries to basically sell us the best of it, but they're quickly running out of reasonable targets for it, right? Innistrad Remastered, we've been to Innistrad 3 different times, and the last 2 sets, last 3 Innistrad sets, if you count the double feature, they really flopped pretty badly and didn't have a lot of spiciness. So Wizards is literally having to lean on a commander card to be the most exciting part of this entire release, right? They've got Edgar Markov as the special headliner card. So this is something new they're doing, if you haven't heard it, where the serialized card, there will only be one serialized card in the entire set, limited to a print of 500 with its own special artwork, only available in collector boosters, which are, the MSRP is $30 US a piece, which is absolutely wild. That'll make those boosters like $45, $50 here in Canada, which is insane. But that's the only place that you can get Edgar, right? And they're also doing some old retro framed cards, like an old retro Liliana, old retro Snapcaster to get you hyped on the stuff. But the reality is, a lot of the stuff that makes this set hype is like older reprints, but Innistrad doesn't really feel like it has that much power to draw on. And then you have the fact that they totally screwed up with the set, and there are multiple double-faced cards that have the wrong sides. I don't know how they managed to do this on cards that already exist. Like, we saw this happen with sets like Strixhaven and other ones in the past, where the double-faced cards, one side wouldn't match the other side. So you'd have the front being like a black-blue card, and you flip over, and it's a red-green card. And you just go, so what's the deal here? And if it's brand new cards they've never printed before, I can understand that. But this is literally a reprint set. Like, almost everything in the set just has the same original artwork. You already have both halves of the cards. So how, when you're literally just going through pre-existing cards and just making a few tweaks to borders and stuff, how do you mess up so badly that you make essentially unplayable Magic cards, right? It literally has the wrong back. So it says, there's a little tack-on part in the article discussing what's going on with Innistrad Remastered and saying, hey, these aren't special new treatments, these aren't different kinds of showcase cards, and you're not allowed to use the back versions. Like, the fact of the matter is, Wizards is making too many products now, and as a result, they can't keep up with their own production, to the point where not even a brand new set with new moving pieces, just a set that is a bunch of old things stapled together, has a genuine glaring oversight like this on a set where they want you to pay pretty much, in some cases, almost double, depending on like where it is you're getting it from. So ultimately, It's an absolutely wild scenario to me that Wizards of the Coast is still screwing up like this, right? So, next item on the list is in regards to the secret lair. So, do you remember the disaster that we had with the Marvel secret lairs where people were basically waiting in line for 4 hours to try and buy it and then being told, oh, you can't buy it. But they had already locked it, like they had already put it into their shopping basket and just needed to complete the checkout. But somehow they weren't able to complete the checkout, and it's because people were jumping the line. There were bots cutting ahead in line and buying mass quantities of the product because there was an exploit where you could literally, essentially, open up the store in one browser, copy and paste the link into another browser, and it would let you jump the line. So Wizards of the Coast just recently sold that 20 Ways to Win Commander deck, and the secret lair issue has been sorted. You can no longer jump the queue, so people won't have to deal with that frustration going forwards, which is pretty sweet. Now, on to the next frustrating item on the list, and that is there is some hardcore Magic shoplifting going on. It's either one dude or a dude and his wife who stole $3,000 worth of Magic cards from the Rhode Island comic convention, specifically from a game store that might or might not be called Excelsior. So $3,000 of singles were stolen, but this dude is apparently hot-footing it around to different states, and he's been stealing singles, and he's been stealing sealed product. He's been stealing from stores and from players as well. Apparently this dude got caught with cards that had been slid out of other people's binders and slid into his, and he was just like, oh, it's just part of a trade. But yeah, apparently this is like almost like a where in the world is Carmen Sandiego level shoplifting spree that I don't even know how many states it's gone across, but it looks like it might be 6 or 7 different states. So I figured that was an interesting little news tidbit. Another interesting news tidbit is the fact that they might be changing the Kithkin creature type for the upcoming Lorwyn set. So we were supposed to get Lorwyn this year. Now we're looking at getting Lorwyn next year. And there are questions about, are we changing up the creature type? Rosewater did a poll asking, should Kithkins be still Kithkin? Should they be considered halflings? Or should they be something entirely different? And obviously, if they're considered halflings, then they have a lot more relevance with the Lord of the Rings stuff. And when it comes to Lorwyn, Wizards of the Coast had decided a long time ago, we're not really going back to Lorwyn. So my guess is when we do return to Lorwyn, now they've decided to, it's because they have another property that they want to reskin Lorwyn as. The same way that when it came to Kamigawa, we were never going to go back to Kamigawa, but then they wanted to do a cyberpunk futuristic set, and they were afraid to make a brand new world for it, so they just went, oh, let's reskin Kamigawa, right? Let's just go Kamigawa's now, this future set. They were trying to do a Minecraft set, and that fell apart. And so they shoved that into Ixalan. So Wizards of the Coast already has a track record of doing this. I wouldn't be surprised if the Kithkin, halflings, whatever, in Lorwyn are completely irrelevant, or if they're not even showing up in any real numbers at all, right? Because the Lorwyn set's going to be based on whatever universe beyond concept that Wizards of the Coast is trying to tie into. The next item on the list is Bloomborough tins. So these are going to be available at Christmas time. They're going to come with 3 different variations of artwork that you can choose from, including Mabel and the Runaway Together, where you have the, like an otter and a frog sitting together in a boat, and then the artwork with the happy little skunk guy walking along. So you've got those 3 different options, but the contents of the tins are weird. It's like, it almost feels like a clearance box because they've got 2 promos in it, first of all. One is Liliana of the Dark Realms, and then the other is the Patchwork Banner. Patchwork Banner makes sense for Bloomborough. Liliana is just shoved in there. I have literally no idea. They probably had her as a promo for something else and just went cram into the box. But Patchwork Banner definitely feels like, I think they might have reworked this product from what it was originally going to be. I think it might have just been initially slotted as a Bloomborough product, but then they realized, wait a minute, we have extra product kicking around. Let's use this as a dumping ground. So in terms of it, you get 5 booster packs. 2 are Bloomborough. 1 is Foundations. That's all right. But then there's also Outlaws of Thunder Junction and Murders at Markov Manor jammed in there as well, which really does make it kind of, you know what I mean? Like, this is, I don't know if it's going to be worth it to get unless you really, really want the special promo patchwork or you really like the artwork on the tins. I'm a sucker for tins, in all honesty. We just like did our whole holiday setup here at home, so I have a bunch of cool little train tins and other tins up along the shelves there. So if you're somebody who's into tins, I could see it being a pretty decent vibe for you overall, right? Now, I also have some special promo cards to talk about today. They are from the upcoming MagicCon. So we're going to start out looking at Avison's Pilgrim. So this is another one of those textless cards. And I mean, when it comes to this kind of stuff, having textless cards is pretty sweet as long as you keep it to creatures that are fairly simple, right? Avison's Pilgrim is just a little mana dork. So for me, this isn't a bad choice. When you have a card that has a ton of rules text to it and a lot you need to remember, then maybe not such a great idea. But overall, this works. It's very solid, and it adds a level of prestige to little wonk boy commons. So I like this. This actually makes me think to the old days when there was a player reward program. Wizards of the Coast would actually send these out to you in packages. You'd get them in the mail with all kinds of cool different full art cards. But we're way past that. Now they're created as promos. So this one in particular, you automatically get for being part of the MagicCon. You don't have to play in any kind of event at all. And then they have actually event-based ones. So they have a participation promo of Sudden Edict. This is such a striking card. It feels weird to have the casting cost start with the black at the top and then the 1 below it. But anyways, with the title, the way that they've highlighted the S on Sudden, it looks fantastic. The Flying Pegasus Warrior, yeah! And this is a really strong card too. Instant with Split Second, target player sacrifices a creature of their choice. Split Second is one of the most powerful abilities Magic the Gathering has ever had. The fact that you can do almost nothing in response to it, it feels like you can do nothing, but technically you can flip up morphs. There are a few different things you can do, but 99.9% of all interaction gets shut off by Split Second, and this is an instant that straight up removes one of your opponent's creatures, right? They get to choose because it's a sacrifice effect, but still, overall, this is a really powerful effect on an awesome card. It's literally like, I summon up a Valkyrie! Who are you gonna let get cut, buddy? Unless this is just a Valkyrie abruptly catching on fire and having arrows fired at them. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's not the Valkyrie that's delivering the justice. Maybe it's the one that's getting taken out. And if so, crazy fire, arrows, all of it, super rough. So that's the participation promo. The top 64 promo is Questing Druid. 1 green and 1 for a 1/1 human druid. It's got Seek the Beast. So for 1 red and 1, you can exile the top 2 cards of your library, and until the end of your next end step, you can play those cards. And then the other side of it is a creature that says, whenever you cast a spell that's white, blue, black, or red, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So it's got a Quirion Dryad vibe to it, right? The view is what I was going to say. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it's an old card from Plane Shift that used to get bigger based on you casting card, like any card that wasn't green, essentially. And was the same casting cost, same power and toughness. So this is just straight up that with an extra ability shoved in. And this creature, the artwork, it has like a very video gamey kind of feel to it. It evokes like Ewoks and wizards and things like that to me. There's just something a little bit strange and goofy about him and non-threatening, but also mystical and fun, right? And then we have the top 16 reward, which is Lightning Bolt. Now, ultimately, Lightning Bolt we've seen a million different times, right? 1 red instant, do 3 damage to any target. Very solid card from the beginning days of Magic. But this artwork is really, really flavorful. You have what appears to essentially be a god sitting in the heavens, looking either bemused or bored, just kind of like, what am I going to do with my day? But then in the hand that's under the shoulder there, you can see, oh wait, lightning is actually being like generated and blasting out all around them. The nonchalant way that lightning is just jagging through the sky gives this some really interesting flavor, the idol god concept. I quite enjoy it. So that wraps up all of the magic news for the day. Thanks for coming by and hearing what I have to say, my friends. Big shout out to all of my channel members and patrons. Thank you very much for supporting my channel. And I will see you all, my friends, in the next video or in tonight's live stream that I'm having over on my live stream channel. Goodbye for now.